evening. Welcome to Investigator News. I'm your host, Ellie. Tonight is news and trivia night. It's the funnest night, I think, of the week. Uh, how am I feeling? With my hands. William asked how I was feeling. With my hands. I'm doing pretty good tonight. Um, Still on the antibiotics, and I'm still, paddling along in my little sick kayak. I'm going to be better. I'll be a canoe in no time with a motorboat, maybe even a John boat for those that know what a John boat is. So, yeah, I'm all bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, and ready to go. What do they call that? It's not snakes and snails, puppy dog tails. Those are for the men. Um, Sugar and spice and everything mean. There you go. I'm a little brown sugar there. So, anyway, if you are new, welcome to our show. And we do news and trivia on Saturday nights. And I got a little bit. William, what do you think of Odessa being hit? Out of the blue, just every once in a while, Russia decides to hit Odessa. And good evening to Susan. If you are want to play along over there, Facebook, or we are on the news network for those that are kind of lost. We got another strike on Investigator News 2, which means I'm doing something right to get a strike. I'm going to start putting them on my wall for good points, not bad, because it just means I did something right. So, if you are new and you want to play along, put your answers down in the comments, and they should show up on our board. And jump on in. Susan's got the popcorn. Susan, I think that's what we need, a little bit of popcorn. Let's see if I can. Oh, I almost got the wrong one. Yeah, almost got the wrong one. So popcorn, get the popcorn out. And what's your favorite kind? I've been getting I guess it's Orville Redenbacher. It's in a tub. Oh my goodness, that's the bomb right there on popcorn. I got, let's see, I got some Act, I think is what it is, and some real butter to go on it for the movie tonight. What's the movie tonight? I don't know. Anybody been watching the new Planet of the Apes? It's been on some of the free channels. I keep catching the middle to the end. I'm a big Planet of the Apes fan, Charlton Heston and some of that old stuff. Well, tonight there's going to be a little bit of, I'm going to say TV show trivia, so it might be too easy for you. William, you might not have to copy off Susan's paper tonight. It might be easy enough for you. And of course, we got our fair use disclaimer for Facebook. They hit me up again. 62 people wrote a ditty all together in like 62 different countries. I want to know how they do that one. So, yeah. I'm still trying to figure that one out. So we got our trivia ready to go. And I'm going to get on to the first news report. It is well, if I get the right one up. It is the report that the FBI believes Huawei telecom equipment can capture and disrupt U.S. military communications. Well, I could have believed that quite a few years ago, folks, when they started talking 5G, 4G especially, and we started hearing that they could listen. Not only did William Barr, and I'm not a big fan of his, he warned Trump when he was in office. Trump warned everybody that 4G and 5G, if it was under China, it wasn't a good thing. They warned us about TikTok. Now you see they're advertising TikTok. No, don't use it, folks. So many things wrong with TikTok. So an FBI investigation into Chinese land purchases near critical infrastructure, as well as Huawei equipment found on many American cell towers, has found Chinese companies' telecom gear capable of capturing and even disrupting U.S. military communications, including that of U.S. Strategic Command which oversees America's nuclear arsenal, according to the report. They have been buying land right next to military installations, and I've been wondering why. And it seems this is the reasoning. It was based on interviews with 12 current and former intelligence officials. Chinese telecom giant Huawei has been the subject of an investigation by the FBI, who now believes the company equipment has the ability to snoop on U.S. military communications, even disrupt communications, or stop, disrupt, add, or even subtract some of the messages that are being sent back and forth. So, William, what do you think of that? Susan, they're not picking on me. They're just making me get more viewers. People seem to like it when you get strikes. I don't know why, but it's all right. We got the news network right here. We're ready to go with no strikes. And so, anyway, on with the FBI. So, Donald Trump put policies in place, remember, banning Huawei from entering the United States or damaging the company's profits on any equipment that had to do with the cell towers, including those strategically placed near critical military infrastructure. And he did put a stop to it, but by examining the Huawei documents, we found out that that was one of the things that was signed against Trump in the very beginning of the Biden administration, when he overruled what Trump was doing with the FCC and the cell towers. Despite the enormous strategic risk of hostile communist dictatorship having the ability not only to snoop, but to potentially disrupt communication, the government is moving slowly to mandate and replace what would be involved in Huawei telecom near infrastructures or anything that has to do with the United States military or land next to it. So, wow. They want to tap our phone lines next. Yeah, that's right. I think they're going to send waves out, William. Like the Hanta, is it the Hanta? It's the one from Cuba that sends out the waves that messes with everybody's stomach and it makes them feel weird. I think they're going to do that because that. You guys remember it? I might have to get a hold of her again. I think she watches the show. Her her ex-husband ended up killing his roommate, and there was quite a few cell towers just right up the block from where he lived. And not only was there one, there were 5. Now, why do you need 5 in a neighborhood? I mean, we've got a huge neighborhood here in the ball field, and we've only got one, and within miles. Well, not really miles. I'm gonna say quarter mile or so before I see another one. So 4 or 5 in one neighborhood's a little bit extreme. And I'm wondering how many people in that neighborhood have issues. So, all right, onward. Russian missiles blast port of Odessa hours after the deal on the grain shipment is signed. Russia's missile struck Ukraine key Black Sea port of Odessa this morning. And Kyiv described as a spit in the face of a deal signed by the warring neighbors of the day earlier. The Russian missile strike is, according to Putin, is not really a spit in the face, but it is a warning to the UN Secretary General Guterres and Turkish President, who made enormous efforts to reach the agreement without Putin being in the mix. Putin said he would have been more than happy to have been in on this talk, but he was not advised. He was not asked to be there. And the first major accord between the countries since February invasion of Ukraine aims to ease the acute hunger, and this is what the United Nations says, and it faces an additional 47 million people because of the war. Um, they bear full responsibility for deepening the global food crisis, according to Nikolenko um, said that Russia was. And the enemy attacked the Odessa seaport with cruise missiles. Two of the cruise missiles were shot down by air defenses, and two hit the port infrastructure, according to Brad Chunk, a representative of Odessa region, saying in a statement on social media as of this afternoon. The hostility between Moscow and Kyiv has spilled over into Friday's signing ceremony in Istanbul, and it delayed briefly by disputes and displayed of flags around the table and Ukraine's refusal to name its put its name on it the same day with the documents, as the Russians were not there. So I'm thinking that hearing this was a Breitbart article. So what I'm thinking is, not everybody was there. And I believe that Zelensky was smart enough to know that if they just overrode what Putin was doing in the Black Sea, he's got control of it. Where are they dealing with Putin to let the grain to go through? That was a big mistake. That was a bad military maneuver right there. What do you think, William? Shouldn't they have? Maybe this is something we should talk about on Wednesday night. Is shouldn't, if you got control of the Black Sea, shouldn't the people that want to get the grain through speak with you and sit at a table, have negotiations on getting it through, not just saying, okay, we're going to go in, we're going to take the mines out, and we're going to plow on through there, and to hell with Russia. That's how I feel, and I think that's how Russia felt. The problem is secrecy. That's right. The problem is secrecy. I'm glad that we didn't see um, Zelensky agreeing to this and saying that it was okay. So we had Russian missiles again in Odessa. Supreme Court halts Biden administration attempt to soften illegal immigration enforcement. Uh, this is it's a small step, but it's something. It halted the administration's an attempt to reinstate Biden's administration immigration policy that restricted the detention of some illegal immigrants. Court decided on Thursday, a 5-4, to leave in place the Texas district judge order halting the restrictions until the Supreme Court can weigh the case in December. So this is ongoing. And this is why we're not hearing all the parties and the confettis at the border right now saying, "Yay, we get to just come through." It looks like Texas has still got a hold on this. And this is something the Supreme Court will decide in December. So let's get on to trivia. You guys ready for this? I don't know how many's in here to play, but here we go. All right, TV shows. The fictional life of a dysfunctional lower class family living in a fictional city of Langford, Illinois. Which family is this? Well, heck, that could be any one of them on TV. Days of Our Lives got quite a few dysfunctionals. Yeah, and what about what is it, Another Life? And what's the one over there on Young and the Restless? Boy, they got dysfunctional families over there. All right, the fictional life of a dysfunctional lower class family living in the fictional city of Langford, Illinois. What show is this? Let's see if you guys know. Where's Karen tonight? I think she's with that little grandbaby of hers. Repeat that question. Oops, I guess I could put it up, huh? There we go. Does that help, Susan? The fictional life of a dysfunctional lower class family living in the fictional city of Langford, Illinois. So it was mentioned on the show they were in Illinois. I'll give you a hint. It was an ABC show. Um, um, It's definitely a dysfunctional family. It was one of the first that really showed us what a middle, low to middle life family was like. And it became a very, very big hit. And no, it's not all in the family. This was I think it's a 90s, 80s, 90s show. Let's see if you guys can get that one. All right. So, the veteran police chief and the entire department resign after progressive manager takes over a small town. This is something that I'm seeing all over America. Is they are bringing in these mayors, or they're bringing in city council members um, that are for CRT. They are for putting a control on parents. Well, now we're seeing that a whole city is decided basically to resign with the whole department. And I think we're going to see a lot of this come um, closer to um, the beginning of the year. And this is a North Carolina town lost its police department 1 month after progressive new town manager took over. The Kinley police chief, Chief Gibson, and 4 full-time officers resigned on Wednesday, as well as 2 towns clerk. Also, it's known that at least 50 others walked away from um, not only their city hall, but officers, other clerks, and even quite a few of the city departments heads have stepped down. And according to the Kinley Police Department, in 21 years they've seen ups and downs, especially in the last 3 years, but nothing like this, where the whole town has decided to walk and leave. And there's no one to train the new people coming in, they say. But they don't care, because what's next is, they say that the Lord's going to have to lead the way on this. They love the community. It's one big happy family. It's a Christian based community. And the chief says, God bless to all of you. He said, but it has put a lot of stress on all of us, and we cannot stand back and watch crime grow as the city manager basically supports it. So, yeah, wow, 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 wow. Nobody knows this one. Is that a 70s show? It's a 90s show. I think you guys will be surprised once you see the answer to it. Maybe I made them too hard tonight. All right, here we go. And the answer is Roseanne. The answer is Roseanne. See, now it makes sense. And I could just hear a DB and others over in Facebook yelling the answer at the TV. All right, on to the next question. It's a TV show. I was the friendly neighbor of Tim Taylor. He often came to me for advice. Who am I? Who was the neighbor that peeked over the fence? What was his name? Yeah, all you would see is just his eyes. I think didn't later on they did show all of him, but he was the neighbor that peeked over the fence for many years. What it was his name on the show? All right. Minneapolis is now said defund the police, and the BLM was a failure. And the residents are taking matters into their own hands amongst this crime surge they are now left with. As the crime rate in Minneapolis continues to rise, residents in the neighborhoods are taking matters into their own hands and raising private money to pay for police patrols that have been eliminated thanks to the defund police movement and the Black Lives Matter problem. They left us high and dry. They promised us money. They promised they would come back. They promised us they would fix our city, which none has happened. And like many Democrat controlled big cities, this has happened over and over again across America, where the riots took place over George Floyd's death in May of 2020. Minneapolis went for the all for it, defund the police movement under absurd contention the police were the problem. Now they're finding out that there is only less than 1% of a problem police force or in their police force. And they have now moved to secure a proper police force. They are ready, but like the Democrat big controlled cities, they will not give them the funding it needs to put their police force back in place. Now their neighborhoods are dangerous with the crime rate of 59 per 1,000 residents. Minneapolis has one of the highest crime rates in America now, where it was almost down at the lowest. They are almost compared to Chicago. And from the smallest towns to the very largest towns, it is happening all around Minneapolis. And further, the violent crime increased into 2021, that went up 32%. Despite of the crime rate, the city's brilliant officials slashed the budget for the police department an astounding $800 million in cuts, except for they already had the money. Now they're looking into where the money went. And they're also looking at BLM for the money that was promised to them. And there are some small businesses that does have a paper of promise. And with the crime rate soaring, the neighborhoods are taking advantage of a new program they created by the MPD, whereas neighborhoods could schedule more police patrols if residents pay for the overtime costs that the city won't fund. They're now looking at Black Lives Matter for their share of their money to be able to pay for this. And they call it's offering a buyback program and consists of a contract between neighborhoods or organizations and the police department. And even some officers are willing to patrol for free. So here it's changing, folks. It's changing. All right. I think Susan knew this one. So it's going to be a low count tonight. I think everybody doesn't realize I'm back, and they're still having problems finding the news network. Answer is Mr. Wilson. Answer is Mr. Wilson. All right. Oops. Well, we got nothing here. Huh. All right. Who is this clown? Does anybody know who is this clown? What is his name? I know everybody doesn't like clowns, but I brought some. Well, I did bring in one creepy one, but I brought in the clowns tonight to make you smile. Never got notice. Yeah, well, 2 is down in News Network, so be sure to re-hit your bell if you did not get the notice tonight. So I like this refund the police that's going on in Minneapolis, because look at how tore up their city got. And then they were promised by BLM to get the money back, and they were going to come back and fix it up. And then come to find out BLM was just a sham for them to make millions and millions and buy nice, lavish homes, while people in Minneapolis have lost their businesses. Wow. So, there was a horror, just as we had, I don't know if you guys heard about Law and Order this week, where a gentleman that was making places or making spots for cars to park for the set of Law and Order. There were notices all over the street that they were going to be using that as a set and was filming that day. But some guy walked up and shot this guy in his car. Well, now a horror movie, of all things, had to bring in an officer to shoot a 15-foot pet snake coiled up around a man's neck. The police in Lay County, Philadelphia, helped untangle a 15-foot pet snake coiled around a man's neck. The incident occurred 2 p.m. yesterday in Fogglesville, Pennsylvania, according to KYW-TV. A family member of the snakes A 28-year-old owner had called 911 requesting assistance, saying that there was a man who had suffered from cardiac arrest with a snake around his neck. Police were surprised by the report, and after arriving at the home, the family member led the police to the man who was lying unconscious on the floor with the mid portion of a large snake wrapped around his neck. Because the snake was so large, the midsection of the snake was wrapped around the throat, and the head of the snake was far enough away from the victim. The officer made a split-second decision, and he went ahead and shot the snake. So there you have it, two this week for a movie or something. Is all right. I could have gotten Ronald McDonald. I didn't think about him. I got a few though. No, who is this clown? This is Bozo the Clown. Bozo the Clown. Susan might beat you tonight, William. She's on a roll tonight on the answers here. All right, onward to the next one. So yeah, snake. Wow. That's why I don't like them big snakes as pets. All right, this is a TV show, 1992-93. Seasons was a show about two brothers who owned an airplane in Nantucket. What was this show? I believe it wasn't just an airplane. I believe it was an airport. I believe this was a CBS affiliate show. Two brothers in Nantucket that did airplanes, small airplanes. That wasn't Susan in that picture. Susan, you got to throw popcorn at William for that? Yeah, I see. Sherry came in last night, and weirdly enough, this article came up about the train tracks that are buckling in the heat, and it's causing train tracks all over the United States to start to buckle, and so they're having to send their railway infrastructure workers out to handle the situation. And they say with the nation's record-breaking heat wave, it has become very dangerous, and conditions through the weekend for multiple locations across the United States. They say especially in the South, along the middle Mississippi River, there are heat advisories. Not only that, the desert Southwest and the desert over in the West. They say a large portion of the Central Plains, from coast to coast now, in the triple digits, have now buckled many, many different portions of train track. Most of them are the older tracks they are finding out, and as they are sending their workers daily now to check for tracks, check the tracks. The other thing that they are now using is, and they found it quicker, was to use drones. And this is the first time civil engineers for the railway have used drones to check railways. And they said this is something they plan to keep. They say that they're looking in between 160 or 141 mile to 160 mile tracks of long railway that have been they've found hiccups on, they say. And earlier this month, they put speed restrictions on all of the trains that are carrying any type of hazardous materials. They say that the highs of the temperatures around 140 degrees caused these tracks to buckle. And with it being a steel, the heat, the sun, even at 100 degrees, will heat that steel up enough to cause it to buckle. So Sherry was right. There is a problem all across. All right, we've got some answers in here. And good to see you, Linda. And I'm glad to be back. All right, so the trains. A lot of my family members work for the California Railroad. And, I remember some trains buckling up along the Jericho Gap. In July. Now this is far after my grandfather worked for the railway, But there is a portion that goes up past Orville. I mean, if you guys remember the Orville Dam that broke, well, there is a canyon up there that goes up into the Sierra Nevadas on the west side of it, that they call Jerabo Gap. And that is very, very hard to get there. It's like cliff on one side. And during the fires, they found it very hard to be able to fight the fires during this time. So they are. I've checked into them today, and they are having some of the railways that are buckling on the higher elevations. So, all right, onward to the next one. Um, CDC is promoting teen chat that discusses witchcraft without permission of parental oversight. They say they feel that not only the trannies, but they say now teens are very curious at the ages of 13 years old into witchcraft. And it should be allowed and it should be able to be put out on all the social platforms. Well, where's YouTube on that one? I mean, if they're going to get me for saying the C word, where are they on witchcraft? For 13-year-olds? Oh, good grief. I don't see that one working. Did you guys hear about Deborah Burks? Openly admits about lying about the pandemic. Did you guys hear about that one? She came forward and oh yeah, she's flapping, she's talking, and everything that Fauci we've been wanting to know from Fauci, Burks is now disclosing. She said that they were very wrong on how they went about the pandemic from uh, from the littlest thing to the biggest thing, because it's hard to talk about this because it's all full of all those words I can't say. So uh, uh, so I'm glad that she's now coming forward, but I pray for her safety because they don't take kindly to this, these elite. All right, let's find out who this Nantucket show was, and then we'll get on with it. But Burks, I'm very we're blessed that she came forward, and the answer is wings. The answer was wings. All right, so at the time Cheers ended, how many children did Carla have? Now, I heard she had four when the show started, and she ended up with quite a few more. How'd that happen? Well, I didn't never seen her on Cheers with a boyfriend, or did she? Did she have a husband or something? I didn't know she continued having kids. Um, and she looked old. She looked like older than me, like older than dirt. So, mm. So she had 50 kids. William, now come on. I don't think she had 50, maybe 80. No. Um, how many children did Carla have during the show? Does anybody know? Oh, all right. Jill Biden gets heckled by protesters at uh, about her husband's gas prices. This isn't the first time. She has had either no shows or one show. And now she did get a small crowd, and they were only there to heckle her. And this is in a Democrat run city that she went to, and she was not welcomed. So to me, it shows, folks, that the Democrats are changing parties. They are changing parties. They are fed up with this gas stuff. They're fed up with this childish ideas that the Democrats have. They're tired of January 6th on their TV. Who wants to watch that when they can watch NCIS or one of them other great shows that's on? Maybe even Law and Order or a sporting events. Bring the sports back. More sports. Less January 6th stuff. So, all right. So we have 4 and we have 6. All right. How many children did Carla have? Okay. So by the end of the show, um, she had 8. she had 4 when the show started. So 4 would be the correct answer. Way to go, DB. Oops. Susan, watch out. DB's catching up with you. You got to watch out for that. So when did she have kids? I'm gonna have to go back and watch all the reruns of Cheers and find out when was she pregnant on any of the shows? Boy, I tell you. All right, on to the next one. John Larroquette and Marky Post played on what TV show? This was, they say, a spinoff of Cheers. Um, John Larroquette and Marky Post played on what TV show? Um, that was another good show of the '90s, I believe. All right, I'm getting down to the the rest of my news. Um, um, Biden team has been revealing over the last few days that they want to hurry up and make the transition to end fossil fuel in the United States, and this is according to what's coming out from the Kerry team. Um, they have made this liberal world order goals, and everything must fall into those goals indeed. They said with AOC coming forward, giving us 8 years left before the world will start to crumble under fossil fuels, and it will be so polluted we won't be able to breathe, and the world is gonna the sky is falling. The old Bernie Sanders line, we're all gonna die in 8 years. Well, I think they're starting to look at this, and the administration goal is to stop American energy projects to accelerate the transition of green energy. They said they don't have the time to finish up with the solar or the wind generators, but they are willing to stop fossil fuels and natural gas uh, within the next 2 years. Uh, oh my gosh. Republicans, hurry. Stop it. We need to stop this. Indeed, the sky was falling. So, all right. All right. And the answer to this is John Larroquette and Marky Post played on what TV show together? And the answer is Night Court. All right. And the next one. Okay. Who is this clown? This is an older clown. He was back in the 50s. I believe this is someone I think my mama watched. Um, I think he even had his own show. I know he had portraits of him made that were a clown. I seen him in Reno. Does anybody know who this clown is? Let us know over there in Facebook in your messenger. I know a lot of you are yelling at the screen. Yeah, I know who that is. I know who that is. You don't know who that is, Susan? Wow. If you could ever look on YouTube tonight and look at some of his stuff, he's pretty funny. Um, uh, Linda, you are that is another name for him, I believe. Clem Cadita Hopper. I think that's how it's pronounced. Um, but I think everybody knows it's before your time. I bet it'd be before Nick's. Where's Nick lately? I bet you Nick watches. He just doesn't come in no more. And the answer is Red Skelton. The answer is Red Skelton. So if you, I know a few of you knew who it was, and Linda knew him as Clem. Uh, is it Cadida Hopper? Cadida Hopper, something like that. Um, but yes, he had many, many portraits done of him, and he was known as the most famous clown here in the United States. Uh, so, all right, on to the next one. We might end early tonight, like we did last night. What does the game Twister use to decide who stands where? Read that. Take a while and read that. Where does the game Twister use to decide who stands where? How do you know where you stand? In what circle? So let's see who could get that one. All right, onward. Let's see. China approves $458 million coal project in the middle of the power crisis. They are now rejecting what the World Economic Forum is offering. They are also rejecting about the fuel and fossil fuels to be ended. They are now going to push through with their $458 million coal project, which they said will help not only China to continue without the petroleum, but the natural gas, but it will help other countries in need as world leaders, they feel, are ignoring their people. And so now they are willing to put the coal project into full steam ahead. Poland offers to lease Germany nuclear plants to help keep them going. Um, so Poland is even trying to help other countries over there in the EU by leasing their nuclear plants. Uh, why not just bring in the coal like um, China's doing? I know there is quite a few over in the EU that are now looking at coal production. Uh, I don't think they're going to get it. And if they want to halt everything and stop everything in 2 years with no production of solar panels, we have now found out those solar panels do not handle the heat. We found out the wind generators do not handle the heat nor the cold. We found out that both have to be replaced within 8 years after we put them out and after we've paid for them. This is going to cost us billions and billions of dollars every few years. I'm talking one, folks. There are going to be thousands that's going to be needing to be replaced. They say here in the next 2 years. So in 2 years, we got to replace everything that's out there. Here you go to print more money. Uh, you know, I don't know why does the Democrats feel like we're playing Monopoly, and that they just got they're the bankers, and they could just hand out all this money. It's just not real. They just don't think of this as real. All right, so let's find out on the Twister thing. Um, I think everybody got this one. Okay, and the answer. I think these are too easy for you guys tonight. The answer is the spinner. The answer is the spinner. What is the largest running of magic fantasy sitcom that dominated the airwaves in the mid 1960s? Boy, this is worded weird. What was the longest running sitcom? I'm taking it of the magic fantasy sitcoms that dominated the airwaves in the mid 1960s. Let's see if you guys can figure that one out. It full of magic. It was considered part of the fantasy sitcoms of the 60s. What show was it that had magic? And well, I thought Dark Shadows right off, but see, that wasn't this. We're talking prime time, folks. Um, I believe this was a CBS show back then. Um, yeah, I believe it was CBS that had this show. So let's see if anybody can get this one. Come on, Linda, jump in there and get a few. Um, um, Top Chinese propaganda say that we need to arrest Nancy Pelosi for the potential trip to Taiwan. They say that there is a good possibility they could be looking at charging her if she shows up on the grounds in Taiwan due to contracts and agreements that she has made with the CCP. I would love to see that. We can't arrest her, but boy, let's see China throw the cuffs on her, throw her to the ground in her pajamas in the middle of the night. Yeah, and her husband. Both of them. Will they do it? I doubt it. I doubt it. I think it's a lot of threats from China. So, all right. So, which? Oh, I didn't think of I Dream of Jeannie. That's a good one. That was part of the fantasy sitcoms. There was I Dream of Jeannie, and there was a couple others that. Um, Shoot, I can't think of all of them. Wouldn't Night Watcher or something like that, Night Strangler, that was in the 70s. So, what about Night Stalker? That's the one I was thinking, but I think that's a 70s show where he used to hunt all those weird creatures. You remember that show? What about um, oh, what was a few of the other ones? Um, Come on, help me out, folks. Um, they had quite a few. Um, um, the one with the eye had the eye. It had the scary shows on it. Um, um, anyway, let's see what the answer is. I could sit here and dream of and think up all these shows that they're back in the 60s and 70s. Knight Rider. Uh, let's jack up the CCP. William, yeah, I don't think they're going to arrest her. I think that's a threat. When I seen that one, yeah, we're not going to arrest her. Neither are you guys. You guys are just talking. But we'll see. We'll see. Outer Limits, that's the show I was thinking of. Thank you, DB. Outer Limits, that was a weird one. I remember being 4 and 5 years old and being scared. That show scared the hell out of me. I think I remember hiding in closets because if I heard the music. Outer Limits was strange back then. I mean, they had some strange shows on, but that was really weird. All right, let's find out what the answer is. It's not as creepy as that, but it's Bewitched. The answer is Bewitched. What a way to get a, a question for Bewitched but during the magic um, fantasy sitcoms. Okay, who is this clown? What is his name? I told you I'd throw in a creepy clown. I should have thrown in Ronald McDonald, but Ronald's too easy. So, what is the name of this clown? You would have had to have watched the movies and know who he was. And they all, what is it? They all uh, uh, drowned down here. Is that what it was? They all drowned down here. Or he wanted everybody in the drainage gutter with him, and he'd tempt him with balloons. Um, Stephen King movie. Um, 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 all right, what was the movie? The Twilight Zone was another good one. Uh, on that last bit of fantasy thing, Linda. But I think Outer Limits was a little creepier. So, no, this isn't Bozo. This is not Bozo the Clown. Um, he looked too scary. Yeah. Um, so who is this clown? I think DB got this one. You definitely got to be a creep show watcher to watch this. Um, uh, I seen it a very long. I read the book. I read a lot of Stephen King novels, so I read the book and it was way better. But I always thought that um, the one with the hotel in Denver was the scary one, or Pet Cemetery. That was a creepy one too. Or Cujo. Cujo, I read when it was super hot one summer and our AC was broke. So the hotter it was in the book, the hotter I was. So, all right, let's find out who this creepy clown is. And we're almost to the end tonight. The answer is Pennywise. The answer is Pennywise. All right, on to the next. What was the name of Norm's wife on Cheers? Now, we always heard about his wife, I'm still trying to get over Carla having all them kids on the show. I don't know. All right. What was the name of Norm's wife on Cheers? Does anybody remember? Does anybody remember what Norm's wife's name was? Um, yeah. Did you ever see any of the Stephen King Susans? Any of them? They were all pretty scary. Like I said, I'd rather read the books. Um, what is the name of Norm's wife on Cheers? Don't Google, nobody. No Googling. Those just watching, did you guys get it? Uh, did the kids get it over you? Or did mom and dad sitting there on the couch figure that one out? So, and the answer, we will get to the answer. What was the name of Norm's wife on Cheers? And the answer is Vera. The answer is Vera. So if you said Vera and yelled it out, you were right. All right. Porky Pig and others. Who provided the voices for the characters originally? Who was the original voice of Porky Pig and others? He did quite a few and very well, very well. Um, I think he even did a lot of the mini Mickey Mouse cartoons also. He very talented man. I don't think he's no longer alive, but he did Porky Pig. He did um, Yosemite Sam, I believe, was the other one. He did all of them, Pepe Le Pew, all of them, unless it was Hanna-Barbera. Um, they had a different one, but for the Porky Pig and others under his name. I can't really say the production because I believe the production was his name also. Um, does anybody know who did Porky Pig? You guys are gonna, as soon as you see it, you're gonna say, "Yep, that's it, that's it. I knew it." Nobody has said it so far in my chat. The answer is Mel Blanc. Mel Blanc did the voice, and also he had his own production. All right. So, what is stored in a camel's hump? That big old hard thing that everybody likes to sit on or in between or wherever they sit. What is stored in a camel's hump? What is there? Is it bone? Is it muscle? What is it? So, oops. Did you get it? Did you catch on though, DB, on Mel Blanc? Um, he was very talented, very, very talented. Uh, so, what is stored in a camel's hump? I believe we're down to almost the last few. Um, like I said, what could it be? I always thought it was a bone. I thought maybe it was a bone that went up over the top, but how many times have you been up that close to a camel to feel it? Um, William asked how I felt, and I said with my hands earlier. Uh, yeah, you're gonna need to. I guess you'd have to feel it. I and now that I look back on it, because I've ridden a camel before, maybe it's like a muscle or something in there. It's pretty hard though. Um, and then they got the two hump camels. So uh, we are eager to find. Are you eager to find out what the answer is? All right, onward. We're almost done with the night. And the answer is fat. The answer is fat. Um, boy, this got some hard fat. It must be the hard gristle on the side or something. All right. The body of the Sphinx is based after what animal? The body of the Sphinx, that's over there in Egypt, is based after what animal? The body of it. Think about the paws in the front and the body in the back, not necessarily the head. Does anybody know? I believe this will be the last question for the night. The body of the Sphinx is based after what animal? Um, Well, Linda, you did pretty good tonight so far. Mary, where are you at? What happened to Mary? I thought she was in there and then she just got real quiet. Mary is our moderator if you are new. Uh, and also, if you're new for the first time, we do trivia on Saturday nights. And be sure to subscribe and share our show. We definitely appreciate that. And we enjoy all of our viewers that decide to come in and play. And you wouldn't believe the people that watch after the show has aired. All right, so what is the answer? The body of the Sphinx is based after what animal? And it is a lion. The answer is a lion. And I believe that'll be it, folks, for the night. Um, uh, and we will be back Monday night with Legends of Myths and Monsters. Now that I'm feeling better, we're going to be full schedule. So Monday night will be Legends of Myths and Monsters. And if you enjoy our Monday or our morning weather show, it will be back as of Tuesday. So we'll be back on schedule and have all of the great shows back again. And hopefully I stay very healthy for a very long time now. uh, I'm feeling pretty good. Even my sinuses are well. Maybe I just needed a really good dose of some antibiotics to kick that allergy I had. So fill the churches tomorrow. The Democrats are after our churches, and they have been going to different churches across the country in protest due to right to life. Be very careful and don't confront these people. They're loose cannons. These are people that need some mental help. And hopefully, when we take office again, we can get these people some help, get them off our streets. With that, folks, I am. I thank you all for watching tonight. I'm going to close with it. One of our newest closings. It has a list of all of our shows and what times and what dates. It'll be something I'll throw out probably every week or so. So if you don't know when something's going to be on or you forget, it does have the listings of all of our shows, even Mr. William, the Dark Man. So with that, you guys have a wonderful Saturday night and go watch a good movie tonight with some popcorn with the people you love. God bless you all, and thank you very, very much for watching. Bye bye.
Know you've been a good friend, and in the thick and thin.